Obviously, we've had to, in some places, accelerate, change focus, etc. So one of the areas, or these are just multiple areas, but one of them is through sound quality and sound changes that we've done. So I think the one that applies to most of the world today is we've added technology or increased technology solutions here so that if, for instance, I'm always use an example, right? If you had a lawnmower outside the window, barking dogs, etc., and myself has that quite often, we now have added some Babel Labs technology, which is now Cisco, one of the acquisitions, and it will actually block that out. It's crazy how well it works immediately. It's just kind of takes over, and I oftentimes just have to realize, like, that noise is getting blocked out. I don't need to worry about it. So that's been added. We've also added a technology that if you're sitting, for instance, in a Starbucks coffee shop, you can literally change it to one-to-one sound and make it so that the person that you're talking to on a video maybe, or maybe on a call or whatever it may be, you can do one-to-one voice specification on that as well. So just a lot of the kind of changing environments are not all in a common office as we used to be. So we've added quality improvements in the voice or sound especially. We have added through acquisitions of over $1 billion. We've added Babel Labs, which I just mentioned, Slido, which we will possibly be going over some of that today, and IMI Mobile, which is contact center technology that we're bringing to market. So these, if you need more information, by all means, we have it. I'm just kind of keeping everything moving forward. We'll talk about those in more detail, maybe on subsequent discussions. We have, if I look at kind of 21 as a whole, it probably bleeds back a little bit into late 2020. We've actually added over 800 features and innovations to the Webex solution. So some of those are very, kind of minor in the background, but a lot of them are kind of frontward facing. And I think that if you look at kind of what's been going on in the market and where others have added, and we might have fallen behind, we feel we've not only caught up, but accelerated past anything else in the market at this point. So, and then the last one here that I want to cover is just leadership, is that we have really stabilized the leadership on that team, brought the right people with the right backgrounds. And really at the end of the day, that means that we're delivering to the market, to the field, to you, the solutions you need for your day-to-day business activity. So that brings me into what does the future of work look like? And we kind of think we put it into these three buckets. So people are working from home, people are working from the office, or a very broad comment, work from anywhere. So that might be traveling, that might be in different frontline environments, etc. And we really have built our solutions to kind of cover all of the situations out there in the market that we see are important for you. We, through third parties, have just some statistics that we want to share, is that 77% of employees will embrace a flexible work style. So that means in some scenarios, it's maybe spending 1 day in the office and 4 at home, or sometimes the opposite, or some mixture of that. So definitely changing, and flexibility is obviously becoming a part of what's important to people as they select jobs, employers, etc. And through that hybrid situation, it's definitely taken some adjustments, but we think that in the collaboration world, it's really important to be inclusive in all those different situations, and that 98%, this is not something we think, again, a third party kind of research that we've done, is that 98% of the calls that you're on, videos you're on, etc., will have 98% of them will have at least one person that is remote, so not in the office or not in the kind of common office space. So conference rooms are drastically changing. In the past, we really focused on optimizing for that in-room experience because everyone was coming into the office. And going forward, we see that it's important for not only for in-room, but also how do you bring those remote experiences into near the same or as close to it as possible, so that everybody feels they have their common, or they're all equally at that meeting. In the past, we focused a lot on proximity, and now we're focusing a lot more on how we can proactively engage people. So we all have video fatigue. So it's important to how do you keep these people engaged in a proactive manner. Slido is something that we'll, again, I'll talk about a little bit. I don't know, Brian, if you can give me a little pulse on if we have that ready to go or not. But I'll keep moving. But it's about engagement and bringing tools.
Actually, sorry, Tim. Actually, people are responding to the Slido poll.
Perfect.
And make sure, if I could ask everyone to get on the Slido poll, it'd be great as far as getting insight into what you guys are thinking. So back to you, Tim.
Okay, but I think that's a good example. I love being able to show the Slido live because it's a great example. We all have, again, I mentioned meeting fatigue. And when a question gets thrown at, the people on your call and they have to kind of respond, it makes sure that they're not multitasking or paying attention to something else. So it kind of keeps bringing people back and keeps that engagement going. So, just the overall statement that you cannot solve hybrid work in isolation. And I always think of this as, in the past, we really talked to IT, and I think a lot of IT organizations were making decisions, based on technology, based on the needs of the business at that time. But the needs and the discussions have changed a lot. And I like the example of human resources right now is going through a lot of people kind of re-upping their benefits for next year, where that used to be, hey, everybody come into one room or a couple locations, they'd have people kind of face-to-face talking through this. Now HR needs to not only do that, but they also need to reach out to people that are remote and can't necessarily get into the office for different reasons. But making sure they're included, making sure they can make those decisions that oftentimes impact, in this case, decisions over the next year for them personally. And then facilities, again, where they used to bring people into, a large room and have meetings, discussions, etc. That's much different now. Not only, kind of how space is being used, but the safety situations around that, which kind of ebbs and flows in the world we all know today. But, again, just building all those different hybrid situations. So what do we see at Cisco the future looking like? And we, as a company, feel that you have to have these 5 things here, is that you have to be flexible and adapt to people in all the different situations, in different roles and different environments, etc. You have to be inclusive to make sure that everybody feels that they have their face at the table, their body at the table, etc. They have to be as they're present as if they were face to face. You have to be supportive to people that are in certain, risk categories, making sure people aren't coming to the office because they feel like they have to be there. They are supported by, the technology, and again, they're part of that. At the very base of everything that we do, security is really at the core. It's not something we've ever bolted on at Cisco. It's built at the base of every technology and every solution that we bring to market. So that security piece is there. And then, management is kind of all over the board. Is some want to manage it themselves, some want to manage it through companies like CVE, but making sure that that managed solution is getting delivered as people need it. Got ahead of my slide there a little bit. So just a little bit of visual just for anybody that hasn't seen lately. We are basically working into a model that is what we call a flex program within Cisco now. So that flex program is what you paid for in the past just as standard licensing, and flex enables companies to start to move to a new licensing model that will allow you to move over up to 18 months to a cloud solution. And one of the things the reason I like to bring this up is that in our new licensing model, it's not a matter of going through multiple iterations of upgrades and making sure you have the new technology, but it's basically built to make sure that all of our users out there in the world are on the most current solution that we have out there with all the features and technology that are there. And that's across security, etc. So having a single application, again, I'm kind of jumping around on my slide here. Hold on a second. I went one too far, but having a single application that you can use for meetings, calling, messaging, etc. Very important. And yes, others have it out there, but not to the level that we do. Organizing your meeting the way you want to, and we now have templates that you can actually set up a meeting that you do maybe once a week or once a month, that you can have a common layout each time to make sure the people that need to be highlighted in this situation is a great example is individuals maybe in the smaller screens, but those big rooms taking up a little more space so you can see people there. Having this audience engagement is key. This is an example of Slido over a mobile, but we're also doing Slido with you guys right now. And very important discussion is about the workspaces and the devices that are being used. So we've had a lot of changes in this space as well, bringing to market some new ideas. Webex Desk Hub is one that I think is important around hoteling. So that device was really kind of built for that kind of situation. We've added different things to make sure that there's touchless solutions out there if needed. But we have everything from boardroom all the way down to individual use and anything kind of in between. So depending on your needs within your organization and each user, we have the devices that can help you out in those situations. So I like this one a lot. If we talk about kind of how Cisco is powering the hybrid work, it kind of starts at the base of the Webex platform. And that Webex platform is what allows us to do APIs, a lot of the integrations, etc. So that's very important, and we have a great basis for that. Layered on top of that is the Webex app suite that I just showed you, which is messaging, meetings, etc. And through those APIs and that application brings a specialized experience that you need for your end users. So that might be through integrations, through applications in there. And that's what resonates together to bring the hybrid workspaces to your organization. This is just a quick visual of, kind of what's in that app suite. I've kind of talked about all of this. But I think we're sharing the slide deck, so I wanted to make sure that we had that kind of shows all the app suite. What exactly is in the platform, everything from widgets to APIs, being able to use bots, things like that. And ultimately bringing those specialized experiences that are needed in various verticals or various functions that are needed for your organization. So again, all those together bring that single Cisco solution. And I think that just kind of brings the discussion toward, what are the decisions that you're going through? What is the timing you're looking at? Again, it might be in the cloud, it might not. It's definitely toward a flex subscription and making sure you're on the most current licensing. So that's a discussion for everybody and anybody that hasn't done that yet. And then we'd like to get you to move to the cloud as it makes sense for you. And I realize some verticals and some customers, there's a lot of issues still ahead of that. So we'll work through that. We're always looking to update and bring more into the cloud as it makes sense. So with that, we wanted to give you kind of level set on, again, we realize it's not for everybody, but there's a few ways that we see that Control Hub will bring you into this world, and that's where Brian is going to kind of jump in and take over this discussion.
Well, great. Thank you, Tim. Thanks for the introduction. And I've been the one running the Slido poll behind the scenes, and fantastic feedback from everybody. So I appreciate that. Tim, you're gonna drive the deck while I go ahead and talk at it. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to go over here with you guys today is a little bit about Control Hub. Whether you've seen it for the first time, not seen it at all, this is going to be hopefully very valuable for you. Let's start off from the beginning of what anyone can expect from an administrative panel, and that's the basis of the Control Hub. Is that you have insight into adoption of your collaboration platform. You have understanding root cause of the experience or what the experience is like for your users. Having a holistic view of your collaboration platform. The ability to measure ROI on your collaboration investment. And a single pane of glass insight into what I'm about to go over. Next slide, please. So the Control Hub is the solution that we have designed, built, and deployed to manage your collaboration platform in a single pane of glass. And the premise of it is, which is a differentiation in the way that Cisco has typically delivered collaboration, is ease of use. The ability to navigate and have full visibility, troubleshooting, and analytics into your collaboration platform. Really focus around users, devices, and hybrid services. Of course, I'm going to go all over this in a demonstration. The first part of this is just me giving you a generalistic overview, and then we're going to dig down deep in particular one relevant solution, I think, based on customer feedback for this call within the Control Hub. There's a big focus around security and compliance. Whoops, can you step back? Sorry, Tim. Just let me know if I'm going too slow on any given slide. But a big focus is a wrapper around our solution stack, which is a Cisco try and true trait, is security and compliance and encryption from end to end. I will show you a little graphic of that. Next slide. So Control Hub is going to provide you insight into meetings, messaging, calling, devices, contact center, both for cloud-based, on-premise, and hybrid solutions. And again, like I mentioned, the premise of it is super easy to manage, deploy, and have visibility. Next slide. The ability to understand ROI, so you can see the return on investment of your collaboration solutions, giving dedicated access to the right people to the platform. You have different levels of administration you can apply to the Control Hub, and delivering a better experience through analytics and visibility. Next slide. Sorry, Tim. So what I'm really going to drill down in the basis of this presentation is Cloud Connected UC. And what Cloud Connected UC is simply is the ability to take your on-premises platforms and tie them into the Control Hub. And the purpose of doing so is to have ease of visibility into the Control Hub itself, analytics, the ability to manage your certificates, the ability to get reporting and troubleshooting. Some of the things that it also delivers is web RTMT. So you have the ability to easily look into your IMP servers, your UCM, those type of servers, your Unity connection. So we're going to take a look at that, but let's go ahead and next slide, please. This is the workflow of what information is captured from on-premise up into the Control Hub for analytics and operations. You can see it starts with the endpoints and headsets into the actual infrastructure. The infrastructure connects up to the Webex cloud. Go ahead, Tim, next slide. So why we've actually done this is to simplify configurations, provisioning, monitoring, or reporting. What it is to be able to collect that data from your on-premise and put that into the Control Hub for operations analytics and RTMT and troubleshooting. How it does it is by installing a COP file on your on-premise infrastructure, which connects back up to the control hub to deliver the telemetry into the control hub itself, or the data. Next slide, please. And so let's talk about the value proposition. So the value proposition, who want centralized administration, but keep their on-premise UC infrastructure. All calling remains on-premise, but you do have the ability to start expanding out services such as hybrid solutions of calling. But your like I mentioned, your calling remains on-premise as it does today. Next slide, please. Here's some of the things in the control hub. You can actually see a screenshot of it on the right. We're going to look into this live. Is the ability for capacity planning, because you can see utilization, call quality. That is delivered in real time with about 10 minutes lag. You have asset inventory, you have user adoption, you have operations dashboard. Next slide, please. This is actually giving you a detail of how it connects. It's using 443 outbound to the Webex cloud. So it's very, very simple. The deployment of this, although not going to be part of the presentation today, is very, very simple. It just has a little bit of time after you install it to show up into the control hub. So we don't have the time allocated today, so I will not be going through that. However, it is very easy to create the agent, download the agent, install it on your different services or workloads on premise, and then register back into the control hub. Next slide, please. So this is the ability, again, the value proposition here, to be clear, is the ability to manage from the cloud. It is not a transition to cloud from your on-premise. It remains on-premise. There's minimal cloud-sided networking requirements. As I mentioned, it's a TLS connection over 443. And this could be the process to first dip your toe into cloud without making any of those changes at this point. Next slide, please. And here's some of the roadmap to actually take a look at. So you can see all the features that have been delivered on the left side, what's coming. I'm not going to go through these in detail, and what's coming for next year, calendar year 22. But we're continuing to grow and grow and grow this product. However, I'm going to still remain, I saw some of your feedback in the Slido, that this product is really driven about simplicity. So let's go and turn it over to the live demonstration, which I have to make sure I can share. So otherwise it'll be very short-lived. Can I get the ball, Bruce? Bruce, you there? Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, got it now.
Okay. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Didn't realize I was muted, but working on the question there in the chat as well. If you guys have questions, please do drop them in there.
Apologize for the delay. Okay. I need to get the ball, please, Bruce.
Okay.
Let me make sure I can share. Don't know why my laptop. There we go. Now it's working. Okay.
It's always fun when these go on, right? It's happened to all of us.
No, not really. Let's see here. Let's see if this works. I'm not able to. I don't believe I'm able to share the call, right?
There you go.
Are you guys?
See
Are
your
you?
desk. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're seeing something.
Oh my gosh. So sorry, everyone. So sorry. I apologize. I apologize greatly. So let's do this. I apologize again. I can't say it enough. So let's do this. So here is the Webex Control Hub. When you log in, you end up on the overviews page. The overview page provides you a lot of great information. Let's take a look here. Like the general holistic Webex services shows you the health of that. So you can look at the different workloads here. You're seeing that they're all in green, showing that everything is online and healthy. Go down here and you're going to see
full screen, Brian.
Oh,
Just to
thank you.
make it a little bit bigger. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So continuing on, so we have the Webex services. These are the global health of all of the services itself, not tied to your specific tenant. We go down here and we have the hybrid services, which are tied to your tenant. And you can go through here and I can, again, briefly, I'm trying to watch the clock. They will give you overview onto which services you deployed and the health of those services. You can see here in the middle, you have devices, the total devices online with issues and offline. And you can see the user adoption up here in the top right. You have 181 users in this particular example. You do have the ability for multiple ways to add users to your actual Webex domain or Webex tenant. Over in the left pane here, you have your monitoring, management, and services tabs. So you have the ability to look through and see your analytics and troubleshooting and reporting, for instance. Whoops, I didn't mean to skip Webex Experience, which is over here in the top right. And what this really is it provides you the ability of what you've deployed and what could be improved to maximize your value out of the Control Hub. So you can look down here and see, oh, you need to claim your domain. It'll tell you the description of why. Set up single sign-on, which probably most people are familiar with, and it will tell you the description of what the service is, right? Assign administrator. Whoops, yep. Go ahead.
So Brian, you're telling me if I had a call manager and Webex calling cloud, I would be able to come here to see everything. I would see both solutions in Control Hub now.
If you tie the Active Directory in to the Control Hub, you'll have the users on here. Yes, that is okay. The answer.
That's great.
I want to focus in on what I'm actually trying to get to, but to answer your question, that is correct. Yes, you can synchronize users using the familiar Active Directory. You can also use Azure in the cloud to tie in your users into the Control Hub itself. Okay. So now, as I mentioned earlier, so anyways, you guys get Webex Experience, hopefully, is the ability to have insight as the whole the Webex tenant itself, and the services throughout the entire tenant and what you can improve. So it gives you a health check. Analytics are the ability to drill down and see the quality of calls. Right, so this is going to give you quality actually of various different workloads, which what we're going to be focusing on for today's presentation is over here on the right, the Connected UC, Cloud Connected UC, or CCUC, you'll see it written as, and this will give you several different details, which I'm going to come back to in just a minute. Troubleshooting You have the ability to now look in detail at all the aspects of any given meeting or call. And when I say that, you're going to look at TCP, you're going to look at UDP, you're going to look at screen sharing, you're going to look at audio calling, you're going to look at media calling, you're going to look at a source of each caller in there. You're going to see the platform they're on, whether it's a PC or they're dialing in with a video endpoint. And you have the ability, which I know makes a big differentiation in the market for Cisco, is the ability to drill down and see live meetings as they're going on. From there, in the live meeting, you do have the ability to join that meeting, to be a participant and actually witness problems going on. And we have an extensive reporting, right? So you have the ability to drill down and export reports of various information you're looking for. Now, to go down to the management side, I won't go through each of these one by one, but we have the ability to manage all your users, right? So you have you can go in here and manage different aspects of the different users. You can see here all these users that have been imported into the Control Hub are showing active because they have clicked through on the invitation of them getting added to the user. Them getting added to the Control Hub sends them an invitation, they accept the invitation, and now they're part of the Control Hub. If you want to see any details about them or services attached to the particular user, you click on the user and you're going to get a flyout on the right. And within that, you're going to see all of the services that are part of your tenant that you can configure for that user. One of the things particularly useful that you can see here per user is the ability to edit the license and see what the user is licensed for instance. So you can see here, this particular user has basic messaging, has basic space meetings, and has the ability to add the Webex calling, to which they're not currently licensed for, but they can be if you check the box. So you do have the ability to look at so the various different devices or various different services. Coming down here, you can see there's an 8845 handset associated with the user themselves. You can look at the software upgrade channel for the user. You have the ability to look at disable or a preview version. You have the ability to set the preferred language, name labeling, and calling behavior. So you have groups and licenses. You do have the ability to set templates for licenses. So when you import a bunch of users, they get certain license assignments to them. Going down to devices here, you have the ability to look at all the devices that are part of your Webex org that are registered to the device, and you can see their status. These are all the devices in this case that are registered to this particular org. That are some of the great things here is that you have the ability up here to filter by different statuses or products. So you can look at like status and you can say issues, right? So you see these with the issues. For instance, this DX, let's go down to this room kit that has an issue. And if we click on the issue, you actually see the issue over here on the right side, right? So it'll tell you there's signal interference from other devices, which is a common way of saying you have two Cisco current generation devices in the same room, and that the ultrasound pairing may fail, which is due to the same thing, right? You have two devices in one room, you'll see that problem. So going from there, we can go down to the account itself. You'll see this is the actual org ID. You'll see this, which you utilize to tie in your cloud connected UC from your on-premise infrastructure up to the Webex cloud org. And you'll see your licensing here as well under the account. So you can see what license you have applied. Your organizational settings are the global settings for your actual Webex org itself. So you'll look through here and you can configure all sorts of stuff as far as directory synchronization. SSO is actually configured back in the users tab, just so you guys know. You would think it'd be under here, but it's actually not. You have the ability to edit your domains. You can see the domains here that are associated with your WebEx org. You have some ability up here to, this is where you claim the domains themselves. You do have the ability up here to do some of the security features for the actual, the end users. And what else is particularly interesting here? Idle timeout of the client. You can set that up if they're not active. So let's go down here and look at a few other things under updates and migrations. This is rather new. So you have the ability here to migrate Jabber to WebEx, right? Now, this is basically a documented process that you go through for that migration. One of the other services on that same note is the ability to integrate between Jabber and WebEx so they can actually communicate together as a process if you're looking to migrate from Jabber to WebEx. Migration from enterprise phones to MPP firmware. The MPP firmware, or multi-platform firmware, is the actual phone load that allows our 68, 78, and 8800 series phones to register to the WebEx cloud for WebEx calling. Some of the other aspects of the enterprise phones that you want to be aware of that are outside of this are for cloud connected or UCM cloud, or now as it's called, WebEx calling dedicated instance, which is UCM in the cloud, which allows enterprise phones with older enterprise phones that are older to be able to register that platform, whereas 68, 78, 8800 series phone to WebEx calling are required. Some of the migration tools from UCM to WebEx cloud, and it goes through the process of that. So let's move over. You got messaging, meeting. So you have the ability to go into meetings and look. This is going to break out your actual your site. From here, it's going to cross launch into what was formerly the site admin to be able to configure that. They've done a fantastic job making a seamless integration. Again, going back to a single pane of glass. Really quick jumping over to this for hybrid services. This is fantastic. These are all really important services. For instance, your hybrid calendar, right? So the ability to tie in your calendar service to WebEx. So you can schedule meetings from Outlook. You can do it utilizing the @WebEx, as you can see right here, which will schedule a meeting in your PMR. However, and this is again outside of the scope of what I'm trying to present, you do have the ability in the WebEx app to now schedule ad hoc meetings or join a meeting on the fly or set your PMR and schedule it through the WebEx app itself. It's fantastic. So other functions that are in here, hybrid calling, the Microsoft Teams video integration. So we do have a service that ties us directly into Microsoft Tenant for our video devices to be able to seamlessly call into a Microsoft Teams meeting and be able to share content and have a native experience on both sides. The Microsoft people have a native experience on their side, and the Cisco video endpoints have a native experience on their side. Now let's get to what I was actually wanting to present today, and that is Cloud Connected UC. So here is Cloud Connected UC. The first thing I'd like to pay you guys to notice here is some simplicity. It's pretty easy, right? There's not a lot on this dashboard here. As far as options, you have three little cards on here with information on them, right? So it's really simple to look at. You can go up here to the agent install file, right? You'll see that there is an agent that has been created. You go over here and you can download it, and that will take it to where you install it. It will create a COP file. You install it on your UCM, which will call home to the WebEx cloud and become a registered device for the information I'm about to go over. You can see here, really easy. You created it, you download the file. That's it. So moving back, so you can look at the inventory you have, and you will see that there is a cluster. So actually, let me jump over here. And you can see the devices here, but there is a process. You create a cluster. Inside the cluster is the agent. The agent gets downloaded to the appropriate UCM platforms, and you can have multiple clusters. You can also, this also supports proxy. You can look at the inventory. You go in here and you can resolve it. You can see it still needs verification. And this is going to bring you back to the ability to verify, and you should see the different services here. You got UCM and IMP, and you can go in here. If I check the box, hit save, it will verify, right? You can see the cluster it's created is shared services cluster. Going back here, and again, this is a demonstration, and the purpose of it, and I'm going to jump back up after I'm done going through this part over to the analytics part of it. So you do have the ability to do certificate management here. You do have the ability to give you an alert on the certificates themselves. And I'm going to jump and bounce over here. Let me wait for this to come up. A little slow here, sorry about that. Okay, so there is no alerts that have been flagged yet, and I'm going to show you that means that none of the certificates are coming close to being expired. Okay, that's a little slow. Having some issues on the platform. This is a demonstration platform. This is not a live platform, just so you guys know. And the purpose of this particular platform is so that you guys can see some of the analytics on there, to which I'm going to jump over. The last thing I wanted to show you here, the certificate management. Oh, here we go. This is the monitoring. Gives you the ability to notify you when certificates are about to expire. Right, you can see here the notification starts in 30 days, which is able to be adjusted, and notification frequency is every week. Now let me go back here to the operations dashboard, and if I click on here, it's going to give me some insight. There is no information in this particular window here, but you can go over here, and if I launch into here, I will attempt to open up web RTMT. So if you go here, it'll do that because it cannot reach that server at all, which is expected. But I just wanted to show you that is where you would normally bring up a web interface for UCM in this case. So let's go back up to the analytics, because I think that's really what a lot of people are wondering about and looking for. So if I go up to Connected UC, now you're going to see your ability to take a look, and you have the ability to look at all clusters, right? So I can see the different clusters over here on the right. I have the ability to change the date window, right? I can look at it 7 days, 30 days, 90, the last 12 months, or I can set a customized date. You can see it's going to break this apart in service experience. So failed calls with the actual icons here on the bottom, asset usage, right? So you can see here, endpoint total call count, headsets, there's a flat line. You can see the call duration trend. So it gives you easy visibility on your call duration, endpoint adoption. Let me move these out of the way, I apologize. And headset adoption, right? So you have configured headsets. You continue down here, you can look at traffic analysis. You have the ability to see, for instance, point-to-point calls and capacity analysis here. There's nothing, but you do have the ability to see utilization on a trunk. So let me go back to here. So troubleshooting, you do have connected UC as well. So I do have the ability to expand this out. Right here, it's just looking at today. You can see at the top. So let's go ahead and expand it out. See here, let's go back to last Wednesday as an example. Now it's going to show me a lot of information. I do have the ability to collect the logs, which can be provided to TAC for troubleshooting. You can see here on the duration, you can see that as an example that these particular calls were 7 minutes, 2 minutes, 9 minutes. and it's going to show call quality in an upgraded state in this particular example, which means they're still waiting for further information. But if you mouse over the call quality little icon here, it's going to show you your outputs possible, right? Good, acceptable, poor, or upgraded. So that is a general overview of Cloud Connect at UC. Like I did mention to you, actually deploying this particular service is very, very easy. You create the agent, you install the agent gets put into a cluster, the agent gets installed on your on-premises platform, calls home, and you will see it show up and become online. And this is what it'll look like when it's online, your different platforms on premise. So you have the ability to go in here and take a deeper look, right? You have the ability to get a flyout, which is familiar from every other service that works in the Webex Control Hub. And you have visibility into the actual agent version, which, by the way, is automatically updated from the cloud. You will be notified of things like new versions of UCM that are coming out and the ability to notify you about updating those platforms. Of course, it's not going to be updated from the cloud in the sense of something done automatically for you, but these things are more and more visibility is being brought into the Webex Control Hub as it relates to UCM. Now I'll stop there. Is there any particular questions that have come in since I've just been going on and talking about this? Tim?
Not seeing any in the Q&A panel right now. Anybody want to speak up? We can, or put a question in, and we can answer that live, or we can get back with you later.
Also check and see if there's anything in Slido, because I think people might have been putting them in there. Brian, I don't have a moderator turned on right now for that. You can stop sharing your screen if you want. It's up to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I hope this was very helpful for everyone. Cloud Connect at UC, finally, Cloud Connect at UC is free as part of having a Control Hub org. That is the only requirement. So you need to have a Control Hub org, and if you have that, which comes free with the Flex licensing, that is, then as far as a service built into the platform, Cloud Connect at UC is free. So that's a good thing. If you guys need a trial of that, CVE will be happy to set that up for you to test drive and get some of your on-premise infrastructure registered up there and getting some data out of it. I've done multiple installations of this for various customers, and the draw to it has been fantastic. So we really like this. This is a particular favorite of mine because it simplifies. That is the purpose of the Control Hub. Hopefully one thing you guys have taken away from today, beyond the fact that Cloud Connect at UC is awesome, is that the platform itself is designed for a single pane of glass to ease your life. That's what I'm really hoping that message came across.
Brian and Tim, thanks so much for your presentations today. We appreciate your time. And to our audience, thanks so much for joining. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Please let us know if there's anything we can do to help set up a demo, help with provide engineering help, or talk to your sales guys. We can set any of that up for you. As a lot of you know who've worked with our engineers, that's one of our real high spots as a partner of Cisco, that we've got engineers who know this stuff very well and are very tied in with Cisco. So wanted to thank you again for your time. Thanks to our presenters and thanks to our audience. And as I mentioned, you will be receiving a gift card. So take a look and also check your junk email in case it ends up being put there. And we look forward to seeing you again on a future webcast, and hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Thanks so much. Have a great day.